Okay, I'll call this meeting to order. Elizabeth, you can please read the governor's order.
Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12th, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 18, the governor's March 15th, 2020 order imposing strict limitation on the number of people that may gather in one place, and the governor's August 11th, 2020 COVID-19 order numbers 46, this meeting of the City of Leominster Planning Board will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible.
Okay, thank you. Call the meeting to Leominster Planning Board meeting to order for February 1st, 2021 at 6:30. Could I have a roll call, please?
Sure. Jason Paré.
Here.
Dean Valier.
Here.
Pat Perla.
Here.
Paul Weiser.
Here.
Sal Chacone.
Here.
Tom Kergnen. Excused. Carol Vittorioso.
Here.
John Souza.
Here. Okay, we have a scheduled public hearing. A public hearing for City Council petition 2521, Elizabeth Wood, Economic Development and Planning Director, on behalf of the Planning Board. Request to amend the zoning ordinance pertaining to home occupations. Do I have any comments from Elizabeth? Why don't you give us a quick synopsis on this?
Yes, this originally, the board has looked at this several times already and had discussion on it and feedback and comment. But this originally came at the request of the mayor's office. Essentially, there was challenges with code enforcement into what could be, what type of home businesses could occur in a residential A zone, the most restrictive of all zones. So the board was asked to look at customary home occupations and clarify what was allowed and what wasn't allowed. And specifically, I believe there were a couple instances, I don't want to name, I guess, types of businesses, but there were certain types of businesses that were in residential areas that that were in the use chart, not allowed. But because of the wording under customary home occupation in a different part in the ordinance, it was allowed. The ordinance kind of was hypocritical to itself, and the interpretation of the building inspector was with more lenient version. So when the board took a look at this, and I believe Carol was the one that came up with the final wording, we wanted to just make it clear. I'm sorry, I'm trying to pull up the language for you.
Yeah, that's all right. Primarily what we did was we added a reference to the definition to go to the table of uses.
Yeah, because the table of uses had exactly what was allowed and what wasn't allowed.
Right.
But it was not as clear under the actual category of customary home occupations.
There was only a definition. So do I have anyone from the board that has any questions on this? Okay, do I have anyone from the audience that has any questions? Okay, I'll ask a second time. Do I have anyone in the audience that has any comments or questions on this? Third and final time, do I have anyone? This was referred to us by the city council, so we'll just refer it back to the city council that we have no further comments. I think a motion to that effect is in an honor. First we're going to close the hearing.
I make a motion to close the hearing, Pat.
Okay, I have a motion to close the hearing. Do I have a second on that?
I'll second that, it's Paul.
Okay, I have a motion made and seconded. Do I have any further comments? Here none, I'll call for the vote. Roll
Jason,
call, please.
Jason Paré,
Yes.
Dean Valier,
Yes.
Pat Perla,
Yes.
Paul Weiser,
Yes.
Sal Chacone,
Yes.
Tom Kergnen, excused, Carol Vittorioso,
Yes.
John Souza.
Yes. Okay. Okay, we'll go to 6:35. Public hearing for the city council petition 2621. Elizabeth Wood, Economic Development Coordinator. Plan board, on behalf of the planning board. Request to amend zoning ordinance pertaining to lot frontage, adding to definition for paper streets. Again, this, I'm gonna ask for a,
Yes, this one also originated with the planning board last year. We had several A&Rs where it came to our attention that we needed a more, we needed a definition for paper street because we didn't have one. And we needed to amend, I'm gonna pull it up here. Trying to pull it up.
I get quite a few.
We needed to amend lot frontage to make it more clear what lot frontage actually was. And I know this was another one where Carol, I think, took the lead and came up with the language. And I'm pulling it up right now on my screen. So can you all see that?
For some reason, I have lost the picture online. Wait a minute.
So we have a definition of paper street that says any area shown on a recorded map or plat at the registry of deeds, but which has minimal or no physical improvement constructed, shall be defined as a paper street. For construction to occur on a paper street, a subdivision regulations apply. Yes, because we weren't really clear on when subdivision regulations would apply and when they weren't. We wanted to make it quite black and white that you would need a subdivision approval when you had a paper street. John got kicked out. He's coming back. John, are you back?
Okay.
Can you hear us? When did you get cut out? I just read the definition of paper street. Did you hear that, or
Yeah, I
have it pulled up so that everyone can see it?
right. My computer did something funny.
This did originate from the planning board, and it originated from boots on the ground, practicing A&Rs last year. It did not come from a different entity besides the board.
Primary, this defined on a unaccepted street that is paved, okay, an A&R and a maybe applied for, and the building department can give a building permit. On a paper street, there's an unaccepted, a new street, some of the papers, it just defined the paper street, and paper streets require a one lot subdivision or a multiple, but it needs subdivision planning.
Yep, needs to go through the subdivision process.
Because that requires that a road has to be constructed in some manner.
Yep, and be brought up to current standards.
So, or to the standards we determine required. So that's it. Do I have any comments from the board? Okay, do I have any comments from anyone in the audience? Okay, hearing none, call it one again. Hey, do I have any comments for anyone from the audience? Okay, and.
And it looks like Bill was trying to say something.
Bill, will you say?
You guys hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you.
you.
So just a technical thing, instead of the word area, and I think you have counsel on that can comment on this, but I would put any way shown on a recorded plan or map, because they are technically considered ways versus area, which could be construed as a piece of land that has no no standing as a roadway whatsoever.
Oh, okay.
In the definition, you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, and we do have, if you look at the lot
Any
frontage
way
11.2, it does say a way shown on a plan approved. So we have way there. So maybe to be consistent, a way would be a good.
Okay. So it is there, it's on the way. Fine, thank you, Bill. Do I have any other comments? Okay. Motion is in order to close this hearing.
So moved.
Motion by Sal, seconded by
Pat, second.
Pat. Okay, roll call, please.
Jason Parre,
Yes.
Dean Valier. Do we have Dean?
Dean,
We lose him?
might have.
Yeah, I don't see
Starting with
his
it.
face. I don't see his. Oh,
Box
there he
is
is.
there.
Yeah, his box is there.
Dean, can you unmute?
He might have gone to get some supper.
All right, moving on.
We'll say he's excused. Maybe he'll come back. Pat Perla,
Yes.
Paul Weiser,
Yes.
Sal Chaconi,
Yes.
Tom Kergnen. Excused. Carol Vittorioso,
Yes.
John Souza.
Yes. Motion carries. 6:40.
Okay, so you, okay,
Okay,
you're right. Go ahead.
we have 6 votes, right?
Yeah, I have a 640.
That's 6:40. Public hearing for city council petition 2721. Elizabeth Wood, Economic Development and Planning Director, on behalf of Planning Board. Request to amend a zoning ordinance pertaining to solar. We amend Article 3 table of usury solar use and Article 15, Section 22-104 solar ordinance. Okay, again, Pat took the lead on this. And could you please explain what you did? Pat,
Yeah, so
and what we're looking for?
again, we've gone over this a couple times. I think the only thing at this point, well, we can get into this maybe in a moment and have it read into the, I don't have it in front of me. I know the building inspector had written another recommendation for wording, but if my recollection serves, I think we were all in pretty firm agreement on looking to have all roof mounted allowed by right across all zones, and all ground mounted units to be before the planning board on a special permit and site plan approval. So that's in summary, really the gist of the ordinance in general. But again, I know I'll let Elizabeth read that probably in a moment.
Well, I just wanted to say that this stems from the board's experience. In the last 2 years, we've had several applicants come forward that were residential solar. And the board noticed that the same conditions were held for residential solar as were commercial solar areas. And the board wanted it to make it more user-friendly and more practical application for a residential owner to have solar on ground mounted. So we went through the whole ordinance and we divided out what would be required for a residential property versus a commercial property and made a clear distinction on that. And Patrick explained the rest, but we're pretty happy with it. We ran it by a bunch of different departments and we got feedback, and the letters are in your packet. And yes, originally the building inspector had some comments that he wanted us to change some things, but we had some meetings with him and worked with him, and now he approves it as it is. And
Okay, good.
So that's still, I'm just looking at the amount. Are we still going with 9 ground mounted systems equal to or less than 900 square feet or 1.5% of lot size? I mean, because I mean, that's gonna be important. That's gonna be real important. How many panels can you put in the ground on your lot? That would be in section, let's see, triple I on section, well, additional requirements for that's non-residential.
Right.
Are we gonna
So
limit
all-
on residential though, to how much can go? Do we have a limit on that?
It's gonna be, we're gonna have a special permit hearing.
It's gonna be a
on that.
special permit, but shouldn't we have cannot exceed X amount? I'm just throwing that out there. I mean, everything else looked pretty good to me. I'm just saying, if I have a 12,500 square foot lot and I'm gonna put 10,000 square feet of solar panels, it kind of, I mean, should we be spelling that out at all?
No, because Sal,
Yeah, just
as I
questions.
understand it,
Yep.
somebody may have a large lot and a large home, a 35,000 square foot home. Okay, now they're gonna have, and they could have more panels if they get the area. If you got a small area and you got a small home, then you may only need, 10 square feet or 20 square feet of panel and it would work. So we want to.
Understood, John, understood.
So that way, by not putting a do not exceed, we don't know what that is on a residential because of the
Well,
variations of the lot. And then what would happen is, but that's why it's a special permit. So we can make that determination at the time of the application.
yes, some of those lots out in rural residential are quite large.
Oh, no, understood, but
Yeah.
I'm talking about the one we recently approved. I mean, if he came in and wanted his whole backyard to be solar panels.
We
Well,
probably,
it says solar panels can be no more than 60% of the project site. So if it's, that's the limit that was capped. If you look at,
That's a lot though. So project site could be, could be anything. If you have an acre, that means you can have more than half an acre of panels. And the house takes up whatever it takes up. I'm just throwing this out there, guys.
Well, my thinking was that, if it was by right in any of the, in any of the districts, that
For
I think it
rooftop.
for on the ground mounted. If it,
Right? Ground mount,
yeah,
talking rooftop is by right. You're saying ground mounted is by right too, Pat?
no,
no, I'm
No,
saying
no.
if we had allowed any of the districts to have it by right, I think we
Yep.
we should have specified. All those things you're talking
Yep.
about. I just
Yep.
feel like my thinking was that if we're gonna see it, no matter what, that we would just make the determination at the time. But I hear what you're saying. That was the thinking behind it from my end, anyways.
yeah,
Yeah.
that wasn't specifically what we were tasked with looking at. We, tell you the truth, we didn't alter that. That's grandfathered in from the previous ordinance, that provision of the 60%. We did not, that wasn't, this is it wasn't, we were not asked to revisit that at that time. If you want to visit it now, we can.
I just think it may be an important thing to visit for ground. It is by right, the way I read this. Am I correct on that?
right.
No,
I mean,
no
rooftop-
ground mounted systems are by right. None.
Okay, which is good, but I think we need to look at total, I mean, if your residence A and which is a half an acre, and your house takes up a quarter acre, and I know it's by special permit, believe me, I know it's by special permit, so it comes before us. But the finger pointing, well, how come this person had this many panels? How come this one? Don't you think we should have some type of limitations based on lot size or based on something? Just, I'm throwing it out there because I think you're gonna get some contention on this. What do you think? Carol, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with you, Sal.
No, I know. Yep.
I mean, I can see what you're saying too, and foresee the problems that we gave deference.
Sal, if you think, and the board thinks we should look at this, I think we need to take this back to subcommittee. And maybe you can work on this with me and Pat and work on that aspect of it.
Yeah,
We
that-
I would like it to go back to subcommittee. I don't know how much availability I'll have to work on it. tell you the truth.
I just,
The near
Sal,
term,
my
We've been
only,
working on it for about 9
I
months.
know, I
Yeah.
know.
Sal, I think we need to make it,
Pretty general.
I think we have to, the policy behind it is, I think we need to, we don't want to make it difficult for the homeowner or the
I agree.
applicant
Yep,
to.
yep.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I think this should be encouraged rather than discouraged.
I agree with that too, Carol. I just want to make sure we see the other side of it too. And if you deny something based on pure size, is it going to come back and bite us, you know? That's all.
Well, what we
Sal,
can,
I see this is Jason, I see your concern, you know, we don't, I don't know that we want to impose too much restriction, but at the same time, maybe we want to recognize the homeowner's neighbors, right? We got to consider setbacks and all that stuff. And like you said, if this guy wants to cover his entire lot, what's it going to do to the neighbor now and his property value? But I guess I just wonder where does it end?
You draw that line.
How far do we take this regulation?
Yeah.
what we can do is we can make that not change it, okay, but from this meeting, make the recommendation back to the city council to say, for that line, that I'm gonna throw out a number, not to exceed 25% of the lot area. And that can be a recommendation as a change to the city council. And that way we don't have to go back to committee,
Advertise the hearing and
Yeah.
okay? So if we feel that way, or, and then we always, if something comes up, we always can waive that. Okay? If they have to go large at the 30% for some reason,
it's,
like I said, the large home. But if you got a large home, you're gonna be on a relatively large lot, so my guess is the 25% would still work.
I mean, if you have a large home, you're going to go rooftop, not standalone.
Well, that would be my guess, but, okay,
I don't know. There's some dangers in it. That's what I'm highlighting, that there are dangers here.
I don't disagree with you, I'm just.
Discourage it either. I don't want to discourage it either.
well, that's why we've thought, you know, really any ground mounted should come before the board. I mean,
Yeah.
I believe that pretty firmly.
I mean, I could take and do more research on it and see what, I honestly, we did not look at this at all.
Right.
At that specific aspect of this ordinance. We didn't visit that because we were just really trying to make it more user friendly. Is it possible we could just
Yeah.
move, and since that's been in existence since we've had the ordinance and it hasn't come up, could we just move forward as it is so that we don't hold it up and then
But
go
it will
back
come
and
up,
revisit
Lisa.
it?
Eventually it will come up.
Well, but what I'm saying is, so that right now we have trouble with having residential owners come up to us and say our process is very difficult. So if this goes through as it is, then could we go back and do another amendment to this ordinance? Just
No,
that
what
piece?
what I'd rather do is if we want to discuss it now. And if we want to make a recommendation, is that we just, when we send this back to the city council, make it with a recommendation that we reduce, I think, what to say, 60% now? Reduce it from 60% to 25% or 40%. Or
Let's say 60.
25, and then.
It's 25. Yeah.
But
Or-
like,
25%, and then. the city
Or
council
instead of a
can-
percentage of the lot, make it in proportion or equivalent to a rooftop system, right? What would you have on your roof on your property? You can put that size on your ground.
Oh, that's a lot. That could be a lot.
well, I mean, aren't they going, maybe I mean, I think this goes to engineering, doesn't it? Aren't they going to have the number of panels or the size of the panels they need to generate power to their house? Why would they put in more? To me, it seems like we're having a discussion about we're gonna allow the subdivision, but what color are the houses going to be? Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Or what's the architecture of the houses are going to be? I'm liking it to that. I mean, why, aren't they gonna just have the panels that they need?
Yes, they are. They can't sell the power to anybody else. It's only for that house
So,
Yeah,
on site.
that's already covered. That's gonna restrict.
That's a good point,
that's
Carol.
gonna Restrict the size of the panels anyway.
I
Because-
mean, I don't know,
Can't
Sal,
take
I see. your
Yeah, I
point
don't either,
because
Cal. I don't
You
either.
don't want to be living next to the guy who's gonna have his Christmas, it's the equivalent of having the Christmas lights up from November to March and they're covering his entire yard, but there's nothing in the ordinance stopping him from doing that.
Yep.
Right? But at the same time, who's gonna have more panels than they need? First of all, it's pricey. And secondly, I don't know, I'm kind of comparing it to, like I said, I'm comparing it to like the architecture of
So we
house.
specifically state in here that there's no sellback on the power, right? It's just
That's
for
correct.
the property.
Yes,
Yes,
because that's
that's
listed
very
as
clear.
off-site, and that's only allowed by special permit in rural and industrial.
John, it looks like Bill has a
Yeah,
suggestion.
Bill had his hand up. Bill, you got something you can add?
Informationally, the most that the transformers within the area of the, I'm presuming this is strictly for, and this is what I just heard, is that you can't sell it, so it's strictly for the home that it's being used on. And
That's
the
correct.
transformers within the system will basically regulate how much power you can do, and National Grid won't let you pull more than 15. And I touched base with one of my companies that I work with. 15 kilowatts AC is the maximum that you can pull from National Grid. So that's if it's a roof, whether it's a rooftop or a ground mounted, it doesn't matter if it's a residential, non-selling, or non-commercial venture. 15 kilowatts AC is the maximum, anyways. So that might be what you say, is that it can't exceed 15 kilowatts AC.
Can't exceed National Grid guidelines for residential use.
Which may change over time. So that might be a way of doing it, is that you cite the National Grid limitations as part of it. Because National Grid's they're gonna govern how much the person can do anyways. They're not gonna be able to put a megawatt worth of panels in their backyard if they have no place to sell it.
Yeah,
Right.
well,
I kind of like the idea of keeping this a little less detailed, because if we're looking at this on a case-by-case basis anyway, you know, there are things that we're going to want to consider, you know, as aesthetics and, you know, the neighbors' concerns and all that stuff.
And one other thing, John, you had said that you could just give them a waiver. If this becomes part of the ordinance, it's actually in the ordinance, you would have to come up with separate regulations from the planning board to be able to adjust the requirements. And it might be a good idea to actually come up with the solar regulation within the planning board regulations themselves, that have a separate set of regulations specifically for these types of units. So that, as Jason said, you have the control over whether it makes sense. It's screening from the neighbors, where it is in the yard, whether it's set back as a structure or something different, stuff like that. That's the way it's been done in other towns for regulations like this.
right. Okay,
In such a can. But
well, there's a lot of options and things that we can do. What's the wish of the board? Hello?
Well, I must say that I think Elizabeth's point that we passed this, so there's something there. And then we could do a little more homework on the other things, maybe see what other cities and towns are doing in regards to that. And if we feel that we should make an amendment, we just ask the city council to.
yeah, but that's going through the process all over again. Why don't we just
No,
do it right?
I mean, we get the bulk of the
It's like the
bulk of the
stimulus.
ordinance in there, which is this is
But
less
the rest, yeah.
confusing than it is right now. and then we see if there's something specific we want to do, and we make
Okay.
the request.
The other option that we have is that we can table this, okay? And then the next 2 weeks, get together and look at that. Come up with a recommended changes. So we'll table it and then leave the hearing open and send a note to the city council that we've tabled action on this particular petition. And then they'll just wait for us to come back to them.
And then
That's the alternative.
I mean, I'm not worried about what comes in the meantime because we act on that as a special permit anyway.
Right. There's
Right.
nothing in the wings that I know of.
I'm gonna
So,
guess that no one's
the
putting
cleanest-
solar panels outside right now.
Well, I am, but it started snowing too hard, you know?
The
Yeah, that's
cleanest
fine.
way, the cleanest way to be table it and to have Pat and Sal and get together and with Elizabeth
You
and.
can't count on me, guys. I seriously, I don't have any bandwidth.
Well, you're the one who's causing this problem.
I'm bringing up Carol. You know what's going on, Carol. You know what's going on.
We'll look at.
I
We'll look
do,
at.
I do. I know what's going on.
My God.
I know.
don't have
I've been
bandwidth.
there.
I can-
I've been there, but that's when
I
I
know.
kept my mouth shut during the meeting, Sal. Come on.
Yeah, well, I know.
I like
mean,
John's
maybe
idea.
I can
Let-
get there at some
you-
point. Sure,
so-
Pat.
Sal, don't
So
worry.
I
I'll
like
look
Jo-
into it.
I
I know.
like
I know what
John's
you're looking
idea.
for.
I like John's idea, although I'm satisfied with the way it is, but I see Sal's. Because I like what Bill's comments. If we can
Yep.
consider those, but table it, continue the hearing until the next hearing, which I believe is March 1st, and then
Right.
that gives us 4 weeks.
We'll
And if
put
I can
together
get
some
in there,
alternative
you guys
language to
schedule
add
something
in.
that I can get in there. I'll jump in. Believe me.
Sal, could you commit to like a half-hour Zoom meeting? At least to give your,
Yeah, it just depends when the Zoom meeting is. So just,
whenever you want it to be.
you know, my days change drastically every day.
Mm.
Well, I'm flexible.
I know you guys are.
I can accommodate you.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. Why don't we
By
do that?
March
Why don't we
1st, we'll
table it?
table it for now, and by March 1st, we'll come up with something.
Did everybody see Bill's
And-
comment?
Bill, did everyone see Bill's comment?
Yeah, and in reference to that,
He
Elizabeth,
makes a good point.
Yes.
at the same time, why don't we look at?
Well, I don't see all of it.
Why don't we look at the subdivision regulations and
Oh, why don't,
versus.
someone can make I'm reading the comments. Somebody can make a motion.
Motion
Okay,
for further detail until the March 1st meeting. What's that?
okay, I have a motion by Sal to table to our next meeting for further investigation. Okay,
Second, Pat.
motion to table, no discussion.
Can we just open
Roll
this to the
call.
audience for comments?
No comments on a motion to table. I have a motion made and seconded.
Did we open this to the audience for comments?
John, I
No,
think we
did,
could, I
and
think we
I
should.
had emails from some members of the public that wanted to comment, or they asked about the meeting, and I told them when the meeting was. And sent them links and
Okay.
agendas and everything, so I don't know if they're here.
Okay, at that point then, Parliament, Sal, will you withdraw your motion at this time? Sal?
He disappeared.
I think it was, was it Sal's motion?
Carol, you're still on, you can,
Sal's here, Sal's just coming back.
Carol, you can withdraw the second.
I second.
I
Pat.
I
withdraw.
Pat
Okay.
did it.
Okay.
I
Motion
believe Sal's rejoined us.
Okay, now we'll move, I'll open it up to audience. Do I have anyone in the audience that has a comment?
Sorry, I got knocked out.
Okay, that's the second time. Do I have anyone in the audience that has a comment on this issue? Third and last time I'll call, do I have anyone in the audience that has a comment on solar ordinance? Hearing none. Sal, your motion is now in order.
My motion is now in order.
To
Yes,
table it.
to table.
Table it. Thank you.
You Get
Do I
removed.
have a
moved.
second?
Second, Pat.
Okay, a second, Pat. Okay, roll call, please.
Jason Parre,
Yes.
Dean Valier,
Yes.
Pat Perla,
Yes.
Paul Weiser,
Yes.
Sal Chacone,
Yes.
Tom Kerrigan, excused, Carol Vittorioso,
Yes.
John Souza.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
6:45. Public hearing for city council petition 2821. Elizabeth Wood, Economic Development and Planning Director, on behalf of the planning board, request to amend zoning orders to include provisions for regulating commercial kitchens. Okay, background on this, Elizabeth, please.
Yes, the board has looked at this several times. And again, this one originated from the mayor's office and the economic development coordinator, Nikki Peters. They are letting us know, let our group know that there are a lot of business owners that want to open something called a commercial kitchen, which is becoming popular throughout the country, and it's an opportunity, economic development opportunity for Leominster. And the problem is nothing in our zoning ordinance allows for commercial kitchens. So what we did as a board was define commercial kitchens. So we specifically know what that is. And then in the use table, decided where to allow for commercial kitchens. And it was allowed by special permit and site plan approval in a commercial district, or by right in industrial, MU1 or MU2. And I'm gonna pull that up for you.
Hey, John.
Look at it. And I believe there's gonna be an article in the newspaper about this, because the Sentinel Enterprise called and they interviewed the mayor and they asked me some questions about what the board's intent was. And it's going to city council on February 8th,
Okay,
That is
Do
the
I
very
have any-
news day when the Sentinel was covering commercial kitchen.
what was that, Paul?
Very slow news day when the Sentinel was covering planning board deliberations on commercial kitchens.
Yes.
It's a hot topic.
Do I have any other comments on commercial kitchens for the
I
city?
just want to, I just wanted to review it one more time, John.
Okay,
I pulled it up, Carol.
Yeah, I see it. Thank you.
I have it.
I believe last time we discussed adding the phrase "the general public" to the list of people they may sell to.
I thought we did.
Let's see. Kitchen spaces and bedrooms.
I think the question here was, okay,
Ooh,
yeah, and general public, and, you know, and it's not a restaurant, and it should have, and not to have any seating capacity. Retail seating.
I remember bringing it up because I was thinking about the example of the poutine ladies who are renting the Elks to sell their poutines twice a year.
Right.
If they open their own commercial kitchen, they're selling to the general public.
Right.
Yeah. So
So
that's,
Jason, are you saying it should be we should include general public to whom it's open to, or to who
To whom they may sell.
it's resold to?
they may sell their products in retail stores, general grocery stores, restaurants, and general public. Okay, then and general public be added there. And then at that point, I'm adding, okay, this is not to include, okay, sit down, a restaurant area. Or to be part of a restaurant. How do we define that? I don't know.
Yeah, dine in or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Or to go. I mean, it's not dine in or to
Yeah.
go.
In-house dining or something.
Hmm.
It's not takeout either.
No, not to be, we could put in no direct consumer sales.
Well,
Direct, if you
that
put
means
in
people coming in. I mean, that wouldn't cover to go, John.
No,
You
no,
couldn't,
no.
you couldn't do that because of the sanitation. They
Can't
wouldn't
do
get, they wouldn't get the rights by the Board of Health to have seating or to have takeout or anything because the Board of Health won't allow that.
Yeah, it would then become a kit. It would then become a restaurant. It would come
Yeah,
out
it's
of-
a kitchen, not a restaurant.
Yeah, it's not a restaurant. Okay, we don't have to add that. Yeah, it's already covered under the restaurants. This is strictly for a commercial kitchen. Okay,
So so Jason, are you suggesting after, for example, to a supermarket or restaurant that will resell to the ultimate consumer or general public?
general
Where we
public.
put it?
I was gonna suggest after the very last word restaurant, we add comma, or the general public. And the general public.
For example, to a restaurant, to a supermarket or restaurant or general public that will resell to the ultimate consumer.
That would be, no,
Okay.
that would be a restaurant then. If
They
you.
may sell their products to retail stores, grocery stores, restaurants, and the general public.
Right. So they could sell their jars of, jam at the farmer's market downtown Leominster. You know what I
Right.
mean? And it was
No, but
produced in
that's
a commercial kitchen.
No. Don't.
Oh, I see. Oh, that restaurant. I see where you are now.
Don't
Yes.
confuse this with the purveyor of the commercial kitchen. We got two things. You have the operator of the commercial kitchen,
Right.
okay? They cannot sell to the general public because then it would become a restaurant. Okay? The customer of the commercial kitchen is allowed to sell. They're making it at the kitchen, and their ulterior motive is to sell to the general public. So I don't think it's required. We don't want to make this into the restaurant. Okay? So I think we probably want to stay, because it doesn't preclude the let's call it the Mother's Club, okay, or anybody else, from making their jars of whatever and selling it to anybody they want. They just have a kitchen that they can do it under the rules and regulations of the Board of Health. So
John, let's come back to my example of the poutine ladies. Where do they fit in this?
They can sell.
I'm walking into the Elks and I'm walking out with a container of poutines. Where do they fit into this? The general public.
No.
Then they sold it to.
Do that.
They don't have retail in the
No.
store. They sell to retail stores, but they don't have retail in the commercial kitchen.
And you cannot go into a commercial kitchen and buy the poutines.
You can't buy
Right.
products.
Right. I'm
Okay?
still not seeing what the
No,
difference was with what we're saying.
But the ladies guild or whoever it is that making the puddings, they're gonna have a booth someplace where they'll sell it. So they'll do it. I mean, we do that today. Shoalin Farms, okay, makes up all of their apple crisp at the we call it like a commercial kitchen. We do it at the emergency management kitchen, which is a certified kitchen. We don't sell it there, but they sell the bags of mix at Shoalin Farms. Okay, but it's prepared at
At a commercial kitchen.
emergency management. So I don't think there's a change needed.
Okay, so I apologize if I misunderstand, and I'm sorry to keep beating this dead horse.
Well,
So
that's
back to
right.
my poutine ladies, who right now have to rent the Elks, and because they can't get a kitchen anywhere else and they can't get a license, do they not fall under this regulation? Do they,
Where
are they outside of?
They
the
could make their
definition of a-
poutine, but they couldn't sell it there.
Well, the Elks are selling it.
Yeah,
Or
they couldn't do
the
that.
Elks.
The Elks wouldn't be a,
See, your money in
the
the
Elks
what?
is a club. They
No,
could do
And
that.
so that's why they want to get their own commercial kitchen license, right?
that's right.
But, so
Yeah.
I couldn't walk into that back door and walk out with poutines, I'd have to buy it from a retail location somewhere?
But-
So
Yeah,
we're
you
requiring
could-
the
you could
poutine
not
ladies
buy your
now
poutines.
to go set up a storefront? No.
Yep,
But doesn't
No.
Elks serve
mix-
food? Doesn't the
You're
Elks serve
mixing it
food?
up, mixing it up. There's two things. The Elks, okay, the Elks have a license, okay, for a restaurant to serve food. Okay, so the ladies can prepare it in the Elks kitchen and sell it in the Elks kitchen because they have a separate restaurant license. That goes anyplace. This is strictly a kitchen that does not have facilities to sell anything. It's strictly a manufacturing facility. So they manufacture it there and they sell it at another location.
So I own a plastics company instead of a poutine or a Putin, as I call it. So I have a manufacturing facility that I'm making rat think plastic figures from. I can't sell them from the factory, but I can sell them to the variety store on the corner who can sell them to the people.
That's correct. Same difference. So nothing that's, it's not to be sold there. So selling to the general public would open it up to be in a restaurant. Okay. If we have, we'll do it this way. If we have to modify it next year and we run into a problem, we'll modify it. But I don't think, let's try it this way.
Well, so I have a kitchen. Let me just add that. I know this is stupid. So I have a kitchens because I'm an Italian, and we got a kitchen upstairs and we got a kitchen downstairs. Carol, you know what this is like. And
Yeah, I missed that house.
kitchen,
Go ahead.
I want to just make sauce to sell.
you can't,
Do that in Residence A, right?
You can't do it.
can't do it because it's not inspected by the Board of Health. It doesn't
Yeah,
meet
I'm
all the
just-
FDA
yeah, I'm
regulations.
just throwing
And
that
it's
out.
not allowed in Residence A.
You can't
It's
take
only
your
allowed
cakes or
in-
your cookies or your anything and sell them.
Okay. So I belong to St. Anne's and I'm making cookies for, I'm selling it. I'm making cookies for
But
the
St. Anne's
bake
has a
sale,
license to
right?
serve food.
For the
Okay.
bake sale. What about the bake sales? Or like
Right.
Jason says on the Putins.
And they have a license to sell. at
Okay,
St. Anne's.
I'm just adding insult to you. So
Okay.
What are we gonna do when that
I-
commercial kitchen, Sal, what are we gonna do when that commercial kitchen needs solar panels?
I know it. We're gonna be all messed up, Carol. It's gonna be a disaster.
Okay,
We're gonna have to take trees down.
I think we're gonna move on.
I'm fine with the language. I mean, let's have this, keeping in mind it's the city council that has to pass it,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Okay,
That's good,
so
Carol. I
as
like
far
that
as
one.
I'm concerned, we're leaving it as is.
That's a good one.
Okay, why don't we, a motion to close the hearing is in order? No, I opened it up to public, right?
Right. No, you didn't. You didn't.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did. Okay,
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
no, I
No, you
didn't open
didn't.
it up to public. Do I have any public comment? That's the second time. Do I have any public comment?
Paul, are we boring you?
Same last time. Do we have any public comment?
Oh.
Okay, motion is in order to close the hearing.
So moved.
Did you want me to pick it up?
Second, Pat.
I have a motion made and seconded to close the hearing. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the roll call.
Jason Parre,
Yes,
Dean Valier,
Yes.
Pat Perla,
Yes.
Paul Weiser,
Yes.
Sal Chaconi,
Yes.
Tom Kerrigan, excuse, Carol Vittorioso,
Yes.
John Souza.
Yes. Okay. The regular meeting, call to order.
Jason Parre,
here,
Dean Valier,
Here?
Pat Perla,
Here.
Paul Weiser,
Here.
Sal Chaconi,
Here.
Tom Kergnen, excused. Carol Vittorioso,
Here.
John Souza.
Yeah. Minutes of previous meeting, November 16th.
I make a motion to approve. Pat,
I have a motion to approve the meetings of November 16th. Do we have any additions? Do I have a second on that?
Yeah, Paul.
Second, Paul. Do I have any additions, deletions, or corrections? Okay, hearing none. I'll call for the vote. All in favor, roll call, please.
Jason Parre,
Here, yes.
Dean Valier. Dean Valier,
And we lost him
Yeah,
again.
no, yes,
Pat Perla,
yes.
Paul Weiser,
Yes.
Sal Chaconi,
Al, you're muted.
Yes. Sorry.
Tom Kergnen, excused. Carol Vittorioso,
Yes.
John Souza.
Yes. Okay. December 7th minutes. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve those minutes. Paul?
I have a motion made and seconded. Do I have a
Second, Pat.
Second, Pat? Okay. Please review. Do we have any additions, deletions, or corrections? There are none. I'll call for the roll call.
Jason Parre,
Yes.
Dean Valier,
yes,
Pat Perla,
Yes.
Paul Weiser,
Yes.
Sal Chaconi,
Yes.
Tom Kergnen, excused. Carol Vittorioso,
Yes.
John Souza.
Yes. 3.0, plan submitted. A&R approval for 597 West Street, map 368, lot 21.
All right, let me pull this up. I believe we have a representative from Hannigan Associates here.
Must be a new company.
Hannigan Engineering. You got a new name, Bill. In your cover letter, we have some numbers transposed.
Yes,
Okay, a motion would be in order to correct the transposition of the numbers from 597 to, I think it's 579.
no, it's 597. We corrected it before the meeting. Chair, we corrected the agenda and revised the agenda, and we revised the cover letter, and we revised the application and
Oh, so
the,
597 is correct?
I think it's 597 is correct now. We corrected it.
Okay. Okay, my markup was the other way around. Okay, fine. Forget what I said. Bill, you're on.
Good morning. So this is an A&R plan basically to convey a piece of land from one neighbor to the other. Parcel is owned by the lot on the left. They're going to convey that parcel A to the lot on the right. There's no change in frontage, and the change in the area to the land is 1,831 square feet, it looks like from here. So both lots still comply with zoning. There's no change with respect to that.
Now, wait a minute. As I look at this, is the new line the straight one that goes up?
No, it's the crooked one.
But then what do I have a dimension from the corner of that house to that lot line?
I'm trying to get to
What I have here is I've got
21.4?
I got 21.4, but that's to the straight line.
Correct.
right, so the only line we're changing is the line we're dimensioning. We're not changing anything on the other side of the house. So that's immaterial.
Are you changing the line between the two
Bill,
houses?
well, all right, so the triangular piece is being conveyed to which lot?
The 593 lot.
Lot 1?
Lot one?
Or lot?
Lot 2.
Lot 2.
So the triangular is being conveyed to lot 2,
Okay,
which gives it 21.4 feet from the corner of the foundation
okay.
at
When he said,
593, right?
Lot line
when
is
he said the house on the right,
lot line's parallel to the driveway.
okay,
Yeah,
Okay. And so the new dimension of 16.8 is required. The new dimension of 21.4 is required to show that those two structures meet the required setback.
okay,
And that's a garage on the left-hand side.
okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was the other way around, so that's,
So we got one with a setback of 21.4 now, and the other one still maintained the 16.8 setback all the way back.
that's fine.
And the side setback required is 15 feet.
Requires 15.
That's right. Motion to endorse.
Have a motion by Sal, do I have a
Second,
second?
Pat, second.
Second by Pat to endorse. Roll call, please.
Jason Parre,
yes,
Dean Valier,
Yes.
Pat Perla,
Yes.
Paul Weiser,
Yes.
Sal Chaconi,
Yes.
Tom Kergnen. Excuse, Kara Vittorioso,
Yes.
John Souza.
Yes. Okay, 4.0, old business. Willis Street definitive subdivision remand. We had a couple of questions on this one. Concerning the maintenance of the access road. And changes were made and submitted to KP Law. And Elizabeth can fill us in on our actions and what's happened.
Yeah, I'm looking at my packet for the document.
I've got the whole document here, but it's not, you got the marked up copy.
Okay, let me pull it up, transition from the ANR. Okay, it's like a 38-page document. I'm gonna go through each line item change that happened.
First one's in
changes- It was in the electronic packet so that any board members may have perused through this and already looked at it. And the track changes were shown in blue. Or actually, they're showing up in red right now.
They should show up in red.
On my other computer, they were blue, but they're red now.
I think your first one is 310, Elizabeth.
Okay, so they wanted to make it clear that the homeowners association is responsible for the upkeep of storm water facilities and also the emergency access road. So there's on page 4, number 26, that was added. Then scrolling through. There weren't a terrible amount of edits. Basically just what the board requested.
Section 3.10.
Yep, section 3.10, public easements. They wanted to make it clear that the city's not going to be responsible for TSS devices, detention basins and catch basins, and the maintenance associated with each is going to be responsibility to the homeowners association, not the city.
Okay. Next one is Article 7.
Yep.
Okay, I'm getting there.
7.1A and C and D.
Yeah, this is where the board, and there's a typo in here. You probably noticed it right away. The board's added in that the trust is going to be responsible for the management upkeep of the emergency access road, not road. And is also requiring it to keep it clear of during a snow event.
Okay,
And then, so on the same page, scrolling down, this is just a reiteration again, that the trust has to be responsible for cleaning stormwater basins, catch basins, and TSS devices. And it states that these items cannot be transferred to the city. They are always to remain with the homeowners association. Even if the roadway is accepted, it still remains with the homeowners association. And then this is just reiterating again that the emergency road has to be free of obstacles and snow removal has to be performed. And then moving down,
page 19.
well, still on page 16, there's one more.
Yep.
Yeah, 16.
Other services, to the extent determined to be reasonably necessary or desirable by the trustees. The trust may provide trash collection, roadway snow removal, including the emergency access road. So this is just making it stronger, giving it more teeth for that emergency access road. And then again, saying that they have to upkeep the stormwater system.
So they're responsible for their own plowing?
They have to do their own plowing of that access road or pay for someone to do it.
Well, the access road, not the main roads into the
Access road.
access road only. Yep.
And then there's obstructions, basically, again, stating that you cannot have obstructions on the access road. If there's debris or anything on that, it has to be cleared. We're getting to the end here, the last third.
I think that was it, wasn't it?
I'm just gonna go through, scrolling through it all just to make sure we caught it all.
I think that was it, yeah.
There's just the O&M plan has to be updated.
Yeah, there's a big piece at the end.
Needs update.
Yeah, the stormwater operation, maintenance, pollution prevention plan needs to be updated.
Was
And that was it.
Or exhibit B? Can we take that separately, or how do we deal with that?
Yeah, that's a separate document.
Yeah, you can, Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
Amy
Amy,
Crystal,
go ahead.
City Solicitor, how are you? You could make that a condition of your approval that the O&M plan comes back to the board to be approved. It's a scientific document. There's not a lot of discretion on either side there, so
Okay,
it's not really that big of an unknown.
okay, so we'll just make we accept this document, and then with the condition that the update prior to transfer the road to the city.
Or even upon the first building, you can do it upon the first building permit being issued. Get it out of the way early. They can do this in no time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I had a couple of, I apologize that I jumped in on this at the very last minute, and I apologize mainly to Amy and Elizabeth, because I just sent them over revisions or suggested revisions early this afternoon. I was out of the office most of last week. But if, Elizabeth, if we can go back to page 4, and I want to just kind of, I had 5 items I just wanted to clarify.
Sure.
And I'm doing this in both your computer and my computer. So on page 4, this is really not much of anything, but under number 26, including SMS, stormwater facilities. It's kind of redundant, so I was just going to delete the word stormwater facilities because of the fact that they're one and the same, but that's fine. Then on page 10, And these
Okay,
really
so
are-
wait a minute, let's take these one at a time. So
Okay,
SMS and, well, we'd rather you.
Yeah,
well,
you'd
you
rather
want to take out
stormwater facilities.
SMS and leave in stormwater facility.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
whichever the board chooses. And I don't even think.
Take out the SMS. People know what that is. Okay,
SMS is defined within the document as well. So the SMS is the stormwater management system.
okay,
You know?
either way, okay.
So that's, I yield to the attorney on that one, whether that's even relevant at this point.
Amy, any comment on that?
No, I would keep it, I would agree with you, Mr. Chairman, stormwater facilities.
Okay. Go ahead.
And then on page 10, item 310, there's a spelling error on the word devices, number 1, which is small. And then it said,
In 310,
"Then shall the city be responsible for TSS devices and catch basins, detention basins, et cetera," but it did not specifically state the underground drainage chambers, which the city is also not responsible for. But the city ultimately, upon acceptance of the roadway, would be responsible for the catch basins. So I had sent over a edited version of this, which read, "In no event will the city be responsible for TSS devices, the underground drainage chamber systems, or the detention basins and maintenance associated with each. The remaining drainage infrastructure within the roadway shall become the responsibility of the city of Leominster upon acceptance," is what I wrote. And I think this document, similar to the operation and maintenance one, we can finalize maybe this document prior to endorsement. That way, I know the attorney did not have time to review it, and I wouldn't have expected to have her time to review it, considering I gave it to her at like 4 o'clock this afternoon.
It was
So that's one of the
4:52.
items
It
on
was,
there,
it
and I
was
did send that over to
4:52
Elizabeth.
when I got the email. It was 4:52, and I went back. I did have a minute in between the meeting before this and this meeting. I went back, and the catch basins were specifically noted by this board. So I think we have a little bit of an issue. I'm not comfortable agreeing that the catch basins will go to the city until this board tells me that they're okay with the catch basins being maintained by the city eventually. I would, in any event, I would not put in the last sentence that Mr. Hannigan suggested, which is the remaining drainage infrastructure within the roadways shall become the responsibility of the city of Leominster upon acceptance. I think that that's superfluous. I don't think we need that. But in any event, he deleted catch basins, and I just need to make sure that the planning board is okay with that, because I went through my notes and my notes specifically state catch basins. And then Elizabeth also had sent me her notes to confirm, and her notes also had catch basins. So I just want to make sure that the board is okay.
Then, because our discussions with the DPW, we specifically redlined a plan of what the DPW would take over. And we took over from the TSS removal device down through the drainage system. And the city was going to be responsible for the catch basins and the drainage structures within the roadways themselves. So that's something I guess we're going to have to wait and work that out before we finalize this document.
Yeah, that was my thinking at the time of when we accept the road. Okay, when that process, when in that process, we could define that.
I'd rather have it defined now, and I think that Amy would agree with me on that.
Okay,
So Elizabeth, maybe we take this topic and we pull back. We can have a Zoom meeting with Mark Pemerini and John Roseberry regarding this, because that was the discussion that we had way back when we were first reviewing what the city was going to be responsible for and what the homeowners association was going to be responsible for.
John, just a question, if I could.
yeah,
Make sure we're following the right protocol. Well, this isn't a hearing anymore. We've closed the hearing.
The hearing's closed.
So are we able to still get additional information and then make additional determinations? Isn't that what we were just discussing?
no.
No.
Not
You're not.
really.
The only way around this, Paul, would be to put a condition on that the HOA documents will be, you know, approved by town council, which is where city solicitor, which is what you guys always do. But I need direction.
Yeah.
With regard to the catch basins, because how we left it last time, it was perfectly clear as to what exactly you wanted to see in the HOA. So that's fine. You can close the hearing. I put exactly what you said in the HOA, but now the applicant is claiming that one of those things should not be in the HOA. So, you know, we can still go on the premise of that the HOA shall be approved by town council. But I still need to know from this board if you're okay with catch basins not being part of the HOA or not. Because
that's where I look at it. This document here is adjunct to the subdivision regulations, and it's also subject to the city council acceptance, which the subdivision is not. So therefore, I'm thinking that we can accept this document and then you'll make the changes and then recommend those changes to the city council. And they have final decision anyway.
I agree with Amy that I think that
That's the way I understand it.
John, I agree with Amy that I think a better way of doing it would be to just condition that the HOA document be finalized and approved by the city solicitor. We could even do that as prior to endorsement of the plans. That way it's taken care of. This document would not go to city council. This is before we even start construction. This document needs to be finalized, not tonight, but it should be finalized, I would think, prior to endorsement of the plans, so everyone has a clear understanding that before the plans are endorsed, that that everyone's in agreement about what the city's going to maintain afterwards and what the HOA is going to maintain. And that's really what we're down to. We're down to catch basins. So all the other language within, I think that we're fine with. There are a few other locations within the document that talk about the catch basins. I think we can clear this up offline and get the final document of what we believe to be correct over to the city solicitor. She can review it. She's going to come back with the same comment to the board. Hey, I thought you were going to take over the catch basins, but we can work that out prior to endorsement, in my opinion.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, one thing that we could do is we could just put in that the catch basins shall be maintained by the HOA unless upon acceptance of the city of Leominster takes over the maintenance of the catch basins. And that covers everything. And then you could be comfortable tonight knowing that either the HOA or the city will be taking over the catch basins.
To maintain them.
Yep. That works.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
See camera, all we see is your hair.
Can I?
Johnny, talking to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
I just want to prove that
That's not much better. Put it back the other way.
Okay.
Oh.
Let's see when we're having fun. Yeah, this light is a pain.
So I guess I'll yield to the attorney on this one, but I guess my remaining comments are moot at this point because we're going to come back and I think we're going to figure out a final document. Am I correct on that? That we're going to come back with a final document, Amy, prior to?
No, we're just, the only thing is they're going to accept my changes, except I'm going to make one change that says that we're going to keep catch basins as they're going to be maintained by the HOA. And then I'm just going to add a sentence everywhere there's a catch basin. I'm going to add a sentence saying unless, or a clause even saying unless the catch basin maintenance has been taken on by the city during road acceptance or something much more eloquent than that.
No. And I agree with that. And I think what we could also have you do is add the underground chambers in the same locations, just so they're part of the homeowner association as well. Because the HOA takes care of those. Those are in easements on different lots throughout the subdivision.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the gravity system there. We would add that in too.
The force main is
Yeah, the force
by,
main, that's right.
the force main's by the HOA until it makes its connection with the gravity system up near Willard Street. And then from there, that's the city out in the
Yep.
street, out in Willard Street.
Mhm.
Okay.
100% on the same page.
So I'm looking at this as that we accept this document with the recommended changes of city solicitor. Okay. As so noted,
Yes, that would be great.
does that sound right?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
So moved.
I have a motion by Sal. Do I have a second on this?
Second, Jason.
Second, and Jason. Do I have any further questions or comments? Okay, I'll call for a roll call.
Jason Parre,
Yes.
Dean Valier,
Yes.
Pat Perla,
Yes.
Paul Weiser,
Yes.
Sal Chaconi,
Yes.
Tom Kergnen, excuse, Carol Vittorioso,
Yes.
John Souza.
Yes. I just want to thank everybody. This document has been quite a thing, and it's finished off with quite a project for this time. Anyway. So thank you.
There was a member of the public.
Simplifying my comments.
I'm sorry, a member of the public is not, it's not a hearing. I can't hear him. I let Bill speak because he represented the petitioner.
So, so Elizabeth, I know that we did receive comments regarding the O&M plan.
Yes,
And I would just suggest that those comments get forwarded to the engineer because the O&M plan does have to be updated prior to, the first issuance of a building permit. So
okay.
that is, like, as we discussed earlier, that's something that can easily be done as O&M plans are constantly updated. So, so as long as they submit an updated O&M plan, I'm sure they can put in the suggestions that were asked for.
I actually did that already for the comments from the Samuelson Association.
Yeah, those comments were very, very reasonable. So I think that O&M plan will definitely be updated to reflect those, and we should be good.
I think, Elizabeth, I already sent that to you, correct?
The O&M plan or the comments from?
The O&M plan, the updated O&M plan.
I may not have.
Yeah. You got a bunch of emails, I'm sure, today, but it's in one of them. I updated it earlier this
Okay.
afternoon.
Elizabeth, we received that.
Okay.
Okay.
Amy, thank you for all your work on this.
So I
you,
guess,
everyone.
not being an attorney, I
Chair, did
believe the attorneys-
did the board vote on the subdivision at all? I know they closed the hearing, but did you vote on waivers and,
No,
okay,
I don't believe so.
I don't think we did.
We didn't.
We didn't.
Nope.
And it's not on my agenda.
Yes, it is.
It's
Well,
okay.
2.1.
Yes.
Oh, that, the remand. Well, this is, okay, I was looking at that document.
I thought we continued it for this purpose for the
Correct.
The
HOA.
HOA did.
Yeah, I thought we had taken care of everything else.
No,
No.
we did not.
No,
This-
Okay.
This was the only issue outstanding, but my notes do not reflect any votes
No, we didn't.
on
No.
1-4.
Okay.
Mr. Hannigan suggested we,
We wait.
from our last meeting, continue it.
I'm
And I
sorry.
remember because I told him he was taking a big chance because he had my vote the last time.
Okay,
Correct. I remember all of that.
okay, then, okay, I'm sorry, I misconstrued that.
it's been a long process.
Yeah,
So
then a motion, do we have, a motion would be.
we have to
in
go
order
through the waivers.
To accept, go over the waivers. Elizabeth, you have waivers.
And I'm gonna apologize here. I'm not at my desk and I'm on a new computer. I emailed. let me look at my phone. I emailed out what the waivers were today. And I'm gonna have them on my phone.
Did you send them to me?
No, I didn't send them to you. I sent them to a member of the public that asked for it.
Elizabeth, they might also be in the last meeting's Google Drive under your director's
Okay.
report.
The
All
waivers?
right.
Stephanie, do you have them?
I do not. They should be in the Google Drive from the last meeting.
Okay, that might be the quicker way to go.
In the minutes?
No, in my director's report, I listed all of the waivers. So my director's report has it all on there.
Okay,
So let me just go back to backpedal a little bit
Okay,
to the January 4th meeting.
Okay, so I have it in front of me, Elizabeth, if it helps, and you list the action on waiver requests from the November 18th, 2019 meeting. Would that help?
Yeah, I'm looking and
Okay.
okay, I have it now. Okay, I've got it. Okay, and I'll remind the board, if you look at my memo dated December 29th, 2020, I go over the planning board action. This is, again, this has gone on for so long, I have to look at my notes. On November 18th, 2019, the board did vote on waivers. So this is more than a year ago. The board
Okay.
voted on November 18th, 2019, 5-0 to approve a waiver from section 9ME2 pertaining to bank plannings in the cul-de-sac. On November 18th, 2019, the board voted 4-1 to approve a waiver from section 9R1A12A pertaining to street width, allowing a 28-foot wide street as opposed to a 34-foot wide width as required. And Carol Vittorioso voted in the negative on that one. On November 18th, 2019, the board voted 4-1 to approve a waiver from section 9R4 pertaining to allowing a single point of egress onto the site for a subdivision greater than 12 lots, and Carol Vittorioso voted in the negative. And the last waiver was also on November 18th, 2019, the board voted 5-0 to approve a waiver from section 9F pertaining to the decision of the board to require the applicant to dedicate land towards an open space or park.
and then we denied,
That, and then denied the application, but the waivers were approved.
right. So at this point, I need a motion to reconsider.
I think all we do is vote.
Yeah, we vote
Yeah.
because this is a remand hearing, which we
Yep.
reopened.
Right.
Okay. Okay, I thought, so it's a remand, so we're voting on, so that was close.
If they're the same waivers, are they the same waivers as before?
Yeah, the waivers haven't changed.
Not asking for any additional waivers.
What's
So
that,
they're
Bill?
all
Are they the,
approved.
We're not asking,
Do
we're
we
not
have to
asking for any
reapprove those?
additional waivers.
I think the only
Okay, they're
thing
this-
we have to approve as the changes that were submitted to us on the plan dated last month.
no,
And
So-
and then we made a motion to, on the document, okay, on the homeowner's document, the covenants and conditions, that's already been voted. So I think we only have to vote on the project with the previously approved waivers.
no, John, no, in my
Okay.
opinion, John, I think we have to go through the waivers again. Because it's a remand, it was a brand new hearing, and so I think we have to go through the waivers again, vote on them, and then vote on the subdivision as a whole. I don't know, Amy will correct me if I'm wrong, but
I would agree, because this
Okay.
is a remand. while I understand what the applicant's engineer is saying, that the waivers were approved, this is a remand. It was reopened. So we do need to vote. You do need to vote on the waivers again.
But- So,
Okay.
and my question is, are the I know, Bill, you said that there aren't any additional waivers. My question is, are they the same waivers?
Yes.
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Yeah. As far as I can see.
Well, they
Nothing is-
remain the same, don't they?
So
They're the same.
through the chair, if I may, nothing on the actual subdivision plans has changed. So the waivers and the request for the waivers are the same. So that part is not changed. What has changed is the off-site improvements that we've agreed to do relative to the widening of Willard Street. And the only other thing that we've added to the site plan portion of it is an at-grade rumble strip at the entrance, more for a visual definition of the street for access, since that section of the roadway is going to remain at 34 feet. That's the only change.
Yeah, so the subdivision, okay, so why don't we take each one of these waivers again then? And that way we keep
That's
it.
not an actual, that wasn't, we talked, that's not an actual rumble strip. It's just not like like a rumble strip on the side of a highway.
Yeah,
Concrete divider at grade.
Right. Okay.
okay, on the first waiver, these are on the waivers. Motion would be in order for a waiver on section 9M, sections 2 pertaining to bank plantings in the cul-de-sac.
Motion to
would be in
approve.
order.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second, Pat.
Motion, okay. Why don't we just do a voice vote?
Oh, I got it. Jason Parre,
Yes.
Dean Valier,
Yes.
Pat Perla,
Yes.
Paul Weiser.
Yes.
Sal Chaconi,
Yes.
Tom Kergnen. Steve, you gotta take there. Carol Vittorioso,
Yes.
John Souza.
Yes. The second waiver. A waiver from section 9R1A, .12A pertaining to street width allowing 28 feet wide street as opposed to 34 foot wide, which is required. Okay, that's the second waiver. Do I have a motion?
So moved, Pat.
There you go.
Motion approved by Pat to approve. Second,
Second.
I have a second. Roll call.
Jason Parre,
Yes.
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 You're muted now.
Pat.
I've got her lips though.
Paul
Elizabeth, you're
Weiser,
muted.
Sorry.
Sal Chaconi,
Yes.
Tom Kergnen, excused. Carol Victorioso,
Yes.
John Souza.
Yes. A waiver from section 9.R.4 pertaining to allowing a single point of egress to the site for subdivision greater than 12 lots. Roll call. No, motion.
So moved, Pat.
Moved by Pat, seconded by
Jason.
Jason. Jason.
Jason. Okay, roll call.
Jason Parre,
Yes.
Dean Valier,
Yes.
Pat Perla,
Yes.
Paul Weiser. Paul Weiser,
Oh, you're muted.
Oh, yes, sorry.
Sal Chaconi,
Yes.
Tom Kergnen, excused. Carol Vittorioso,
Yes.
John Souza.
Yes. Waiver from section 9F pertaining to decision of the board to require the applicant to dedicate land towards open space or park. We have a
So-
motion.
Pat,
Motion by Pat, seconded.
Second, Jason.
We
Second
approved
by
this
Jason.
the first time around?
Roll call, please.
Wait, John, we approved this waiver the first time around?
What's that?
We approved this waiver the first one through? The first time?
5-0, yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
5-0.
Remember it. Okay, thank you.
Jason Parre,
Yes.
Dean Valier,
Yes.
Pat Perla.
Yes.
Paul Weiser,
Yes.
Sal Chaconi,
Yes.
Tom Kergnen, excuse, Carol Vittorioso,
Yes,
John Souza.
Yes. Okay, a final motion would be to accept a subdivision plan with waivers and a condition that the covenants and conditions be corrected by the city solicitor.
Or agreed to by city solicitor.
Yes, and
Right.
and just to be certain, the approval that you guys are approving is the most recent submittal, which showed the road widening and
Yes.
the the reconformed or the entrance that was slid over
Yes,
the emergency access road, all that stuff.
Bill, what's the date on that?
I think it was October 22nd, 2020. Is that correct, Bill?
No, the latest plan.
No, the latest plan with the road revisions
Yeah.
Bill, what's the date of
and all
the?
the updates,
That date might be correct. Hold on one second.
which really made a huge difference for safety on that road.
Yeah.
We do appreciate that. That's probably why I'm gonna be in favor.
It had to be after October because when we were out there, it was
That's
freezing.
right. It was cold, huh, Amy?
Yeah.
Oh,
Af-
Okay, I'm looking it up right now.
I've got it if you want to look for it.
So technically,
Road winding plans,
but you're approving the subdivision
oh, it says
revised through
10/11.
October 1st, 2019 with the roadway improvement plans dated November 2nd, 2020.
November 2nd.
Yeah, the roadway widening plans dated November 2nd, 2020.
So
Okay.
why don't we just put last revision, right, of the roadway?
good to put the date.
You
Well,
want the
because the
date?
subdivision plans and the roadway plans are two different dates. So I would cite the exact date of the subdivision plans. So it's the definitive subdivision plan with revisions through October 1st, 2019.
That's what I have.
The street widening plan,
And the street.
Well, wait a minute, Amy, is that correct? I mean,
Yeah, so the subdivision plan is 10/1/2019, but it's the roadway improvement plan dated 11/2/2020 that you're also
Right.
approving as part of the subdivision.
That's correct. Yep.
Yes.
and that gets us everything that
Yes.
we agreed
That
to,
gets
right?
everything.
Excuse me, I
So
think
that-
the road widening plan is 12/10/20, it says, the revised plan.
So that makes much more sense because it was freezing out there.
The cover memo was dated 12/11/2020, so that would make sense.
okay, let me look that up again.
12/10, roadway widening plans revised 12/10/20.
That's correct.
And it was freezing that day. Because I walked it from Bill all the way down.
I got December 10th. I have the plan in front of me. Yep,
Elizabeth, the most recent plan should be in our Google Drive as well.
Doesn't that say it on the bottom? Roadway widening plans revised 12/10.
I just found it, you are correct. It's the one dated December 10th.
December 10th. I got the
Yes.
drawing in front of me, December 10th.
Yes.
And the original plan. The original plan was January 11th, 2019, but that was amended to October.
Yeah.
Right, okay. So the motion would be in order to accept the subdivision dated October 1st, 2020, with the street modifications of December 10th, 2020, October 1st, 2019, street of December 10th, 2020,
Yes.
with waivers and input the covenants as amended by the city solicitor.
It's a mouthful, John.
Yes,
So moved,
I'm
Pat.
looking for a drink after this.
I'll second that. I'll second it.
I have a motion made and seconded. Do I have any further discussion on this? Good, I hear none. All in favor, roll call. Elizabeth? Did we lose her
Yes.
again?
Jason
What is
Parre,
my name? Yes.
Dean Valier,
Yes.
Pat Perla,
Yes.
Paul Weiser,
Paul,
Yes, yes,
Sal Chaconi,
yes.
Tom Kergnen, excuse, Carver Torioso,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Okay, thank you, guys. New business.
Thanks, Amy. A lot of work.
Thank you, guys. It was
Thank
great
you,
to
folks.
see you.
Thank you very much.
Right. Hopefully I'll see you soon. Well, maybe not, I guess, right?
No,
one-
there you go.
Nobody wants to see me. I
Nothing
know.
personal though, right?
We'd like to see you, maybe, but you know.
Just pick a warm day next time. We'll pick a
I
warm
know,
day.
right?
There you go.
Thank you.
Okay. New business, city council petition 2521. Elizabeth Wood, Economic Development Planning Director, on behalf of the planning board, requests to amend zoning ordinance pertaining to home occupations. This is recommended to the city council.
Motion to recommend approval.
Have a motion made, seconded to recommend approval. We didn't have any changes on this, did we? Not on home occupations, no.
Not on that one.
No.
No.
Roll call, please.
Jason Parre,
Yes.
Dean Valier,
Yes.
Pat Perla,
Yes.
Paul Weiser,
yes.
Sal Chaconi,
Yes.
Tom Kergnen, excuse, Carver Torioso,
Yes.
John Souza,
Yes. 5.2, City Council Petition 2621. Elizabeth Wood, Economic Development and Planning Director, on behalf of the Planning Board, requests to amend the zoning ordinance pertaining to lot frontage and adding a definition for paper streets. We had no changes to this one.
Recommend
Motion is in order.
I'm sorry, I think we did have a change to this one. Was this the change of the word area?
Oh,
The way, yes,
The way.
area survey, correct, sorry, I missed that.
yes.
yes.
Good one, Steph.
Okay. Motion made to correct area to way and to forward to the city council with a recommendation, recommendation to the city council. A roll call, please. Oh, petition? I mean, yeah.
Huh?
Yeah,
A motion?
motion, please. I need a
Recommend, motion, yeah, to recommend approval with noted change.
And I will second that.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Roll call, please.
Jason Parre,
Yes.
Dean Valier,
Yes.
Pat Perla,
Yes.
Paul Weiser,
Yes.
Sal Chaconi,
Yes.
Tom Kergnen, excuse, Carver Torioso,
Yes.
John Souza,
Yes. 2721, Elizabeth Wood, Economic Development Plan Director, behalf of the planning board, requests amend zoning ordinance pertaining to solar. We amend Article 3, Table of Uses, read solar use, and Article 15, Section 22104 solar ordinance. This has been continued.
Correct.
Okay. 5.4, City Council Petition 28-21, Elizabeth Wood, Economic Development and Planning Director, on behalf of the Planning Board. Request to amend the zoning ordinance to include provisions for regulating commercial kitchens. We had a lot of discussion on that, and
You decide to move forward with the language as presented.
I think that's what we did, yep. Okay, so motion is in order.
So moved.
Motion by Paul, seconded by
Second, Pat.
Pat. Okay, roll call, please.
Jason Parre,
Yes.
Dean Valier,
yes,
Pat Perla,
Yes.
Paul Weiser,
Yes.
Sal Chacone,
Yes.
Tom Kergnen, excuse, Carol Vittorioso.
Yes.
Motion carries. I-
John, this is Stephanie. On 5.3, was that continued to a certain date or was it just?
5.3 is continued to the next.
To March 1st.
March 1st, yes. Steph.
Yeah,
At 5,
table it to
at
March
6:30.
Okay, so it's not tabled, it's just continued?
It was, well, table continued, we're saying one and the same.
Continue.
Continue.
To 6:30, Elizabeth?
Yeah.
6:30.
Okay, thank you.
On your communications to the city council, can you send that to the city council? Let them know that we continued that,
Of course.
okay? Communications, planning board recommendation of city council petition 2921, Master Park Road Corporation care of the Scotty Development Corporation, request to accept Master Park Road and Dobson Circle as public ways and along with associated stormwater drainage easement. This is quite a long project. This project started, I think, in 2004. And it was kind of interesting that everything got completed. We have a covenant, but they still sold the lots under our covenant. So I think we want to look at how we can close that loophole somehow. I'd like to find out what happened there. But it's been cleaned up now. Elizabeth, can you give us a brief synopsis? Because there's been a lot of.
Yeah, I don't know how brief you want me to be or how detailed, but in your packet,
Yeah,
in your
just brief.
packet, I summarized what work this board has recently done and staff has done on the issue. Back, it's almost a year ago in February of 2020. I outlined the status of the roads for reference, and that letter is in your packet. And then I attended Frederick's board member at the time, and I attended the subcommittee. Yeah, we attended the subcommittee and then agreed to write a certified letter to the developers asking them to complete their required infrastructure. And then over the series of months, I worked with the developer and reported back to the city council the progress that was made. And it was fortunately, the developer was good to his word and completed the required elements of the road that the city requires. And if you look in your packet, there's just a number of documents as backup to that. I don't know that you want to go through.
No, I don't think it would. I just wanted to, Elizabeth really got on top of this. This was something really cleaned up. I think she did a great job on working with the developer and working with the different departments to get this project completed, which had been around for a long time.
Yeah. That is
So I want to thank you for that, Elizabeth.
No problem.
nice job, Elizabeth. Lot of detail here. Jeez.
Yeah, if you look, there's a lot of
I
meetings, a lot of back and forth. So I think at this point, a motion would be in order to recommend to the city council that they accept the Master Park Road and Dobson Circle as public ways.
And the DPW was good with everything?
Yes.
Yes.
So moved.
A motion by Sal, seconded by
Second, Pat.
Pat. Any further discussion? Yeah, DPW has been around, I've been out onto these roads. They were completed quite a while ago, and it's just, it was, again, the paperwork hadn't been completed, and the covenants, for some reason, we never got the deeds for the covenant, and don't know why. And so therefore, when it came time to sell the lots, I just sold the lots. And in essence, we had no covenant, we had no bond. But thanks to a local contractor, we got the work done, so.
Yep.
I also want to thank Mr. Lascotti for being a good citizen of Leominster, let's put it that way.
Yep.
Motion with a motion, I got a motion, roll
You
call.
got a motion. You got a second.
Motion made and seconded, roll call, please.
Jason Parre,
Yes.
Dean Valier,
Yes.
Pat Perla,
Yes.
Paul Weiser,
Yes.
Sal Chaconi,
Yes.
Tom Kergnen, excuse, Carol Vittorioso,
Yes.
John Souza.
Yes. Okay, 6.2, schedule a public hearing for city council petition 3221 Elizabeth Wood Planning Development, directed on behalf of planning board. Request amend the zoning ordinance pertaining to the floodplain. See attached letter. City council information, legal affairs, regular course 1/11/21. Public hearing February 8th, 2021 at 6:30. Re-amend Article 6, Section 2234, Special Districts Regulations Floodplain. Elizabeth's done a lot of work on this also with the Conservation Commission. It's basically a rewrite of the whole floodplain. Elizabeth, you want to add anything to that?
I mean, that's the summary of it. We worked with the state floodplain administrator on this, and the conservation, like you said, conservation and I paired up, and we had several subcommittee meetings to hash this out, and then we sent it back to the state and had them review what we did, and then they made edits, and then we in turn adapted those edits to what's presented to you.
Okay. So,
So we need to schedule a public hearing.
so we have to schedule a public hearing for the floodplain, so motion would be in order for our next meeting,
March 1st,
March 1st, yeah.
6:35.
Do we have a time for that? We already have one scheduled, right?
The one at 6:30.
No, with that, did we put a time?
It's 6:30. You didn't say it, but it
Oh, that's
defaulted
not
to
it.
that.
Okay. Yeah, we tabled the petition for, that should be at 6:30.
Solar at 6:30, or you want the floodplain at
For
6:30?
solar, we tabled solar to that time.
Yeah, I had solar at 6:30.
Solar is at 6:30, so that's gonna take us 6:45.
Okay,
The motion would be in order to schedule a meeting for 6:45 for, okay, the flood, yeah, the hearing on the floodplain. Do I have a motion?
Yeah, so moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a second.
Yep.
Okay, roll call, please.
Jason Parre. Jason Parre,
Yes, sorry, I was muted. Now you're muted.
You're muted.
Hey, Elizabeth.
Dean Valier,
Yes.
Pat Perla,
Yes.
Paul Weiser,
Yes.
Sal Chaconi,
Yes.
Tom Kergnen, excused, Carol Vittorioso,
Yes.
John Souza.
Yes. 6.3, minor modification received 1/22/21 for site plan approval for Lot 3A, Research Drive, Southgate Business Park. Hereby hearing board on 1/4/21, stamped approval made 1721, requested planning board review the change, applicant name change only. Make a motion accordingly. So this is a minor modification, we just change the name of the company, I guess.
Applicant, yeah.
Do I have any discussion on that?
Well, first,
No,
it's a minor mod, right?
That's about as minor as you can get, I think.
I agree. So I make a motion that it is a minor modification.
Yes.
I'll second that.
I have a motion to determine it is a minor modification. Do I have a second to that?
We'll second that. It's Paul.
I have a second. Roll call, please.
Jason Parre,
Yes.
Dean Valier,
Yes.
Pat Perla,
Yes.
Paul Weiser,
Yes.
Sal Chaconi,
Yes.
Tom Kerrigan, excused, Carol Vittorioso,
Yes.
Carol, John Souza.
Yes. Okay, a motion is in order to accept the plan with the minor modification.
So moved.
And second.
Motion made and seconded, accept the plan with the minor modification. Any further discussion? Here none, a call for the vote. Roll call, please.
Jason Parre,
Yes.
Dean Valier,
Yes.
Pat Perla,
Yes.
Paul Weiser,
Yes.
Sal Chaconi,
Yes.
Tom Kerrigan, excused, Carol Vittorioso,
Yes.
John Souza.
Yes. Okay, 6.4. Request a motion to elect chairman and vice chair of the City of Leominster Planning Board. Annual nominations.
Yeah, we're supposed to do this in January, but we're getting to it pretty quickly in February, so.
Nominations are open for chairman.
John Souza.
Second.
I have a motion made and John Souza.
Fourth.
Do I
Fifth.
have any other nominations? Here or none, I'll close the voting. All in favor, say no.
No. Not again. Oh.
Roll call, please.
Jeez.
Jason Parre,
Yes.
Dean Valier,
Yes.
Pat Perla,
Yes.
Paul Weiser,
Yes.
Sal Chaconi,
Yes.
Tom Kerrigan, excused, Carol Vittorioso,
Yes.
John Souza.
Yes. Okay, vice chair, motion is in order for a vice. I recommend Carol Vittorioso.
You can't recommend anything. Chair, I recommend Carol Vittorioso for vice.
Okay, I'll let you do it now.
I'll second that.
Boys, please stop
Second.
fighting over me.
Stop fighting on.
It's Carol.
Oh, it's the first time you've talked tonight.
Yes. I'll call for them. All in favor, say aye.
Maybe we ought to reconsider you, John, you know?
No, we can't.
Roll call.
Roll call, please.
Jason Parre,
Yes.
Dean Valier,
Yes.
Pat Perla,
Yes.
Paul Weiser,
Yes.
Sal Chaconi,
Yes.
Tom Kerrigan, excused, Carol Vittorioso,
Abstain.
John Souza.
Yes.
There you go, Carol. Now for the best looking planning board member.
Carol
All right, That's-
Vittorioso.
there you go. Second. She's gonna
Request
shut
a
us
motion
off
for
soon.
Dean Valier to serve as city limits as representative to the Montezut Regional Planning Commission.
Oh, that's
MRPC.
beautiful.
Okay, appointment began on July 1st, 2020 and end on June 30th, 2021.
Already half done.
Okay,
There you go, Dean.
You,
that means he gets another year.
That means we only start this as the date of the vote. Motion to request Dean to serve.
Oh, we've already requested him. He's accepted.
Oh, okay. So what's this on here for?
You have to do it.
It has to be on the agenda twice.
We have to
All
be.
right, so
Name.
we have to approve it twice, or it just has to be on the
His
agenda?
name has to be on the agenda twice.
Okay, we're good then.
That means I can't start until May.
That's right.
We
Means you
didn't.
don't have to go.
No, you can go right now. Okay, do I have a motion to accept Dean?
Yes.
Just did that.
Motion by Paul, seconded by
I second it, Pat.
Yeah, okay. Roll call, please.
Jason Parre,
Yes.
Dean Valier,
Yes.
Pat Perla,
Yes.
Paul Weiser,
Yes.
Sal Chaconi,
Yes.
Tom Kerrigan, excuse, Carol Vittorioso,
Yes.
John Souza.
Yes. 7.0, Director's Report.
All right. I have a couple things for the board, so don't try to get your motions for adjournment ready yet. I attended the Massachusetts Joint Transportation Committee meeting, and it turns out there's a lot of money for different traffic studies and transportation projects out there, if we just apply for it. And I brought this up to the mayor's office, and they already have a project they want to work on, and they're already putting a proposal forward, and they didn't want to involve planning staff or the board on it. And I can
Wow.
forward, I can actually print that out and put it in your next packet. But I need to know if the board wants any specific studies done.
Why would the
Because
office not want the planning board involved in a planning decision? I'm confused by that.
well, the planning board can put something on top of that. We can apply for 5 things if we want.
Okay.
They
They
just
still
have
have
one that
to-
they want that they're gonna apply for, and they said they've got it, they don't need our help.
They can still, it still has to go through the mayor's office anyway.
Okay.
If
Okay,
we're gonna apply for one, okay.
We should apply for all of them, everything we can think of, if it's there, right?
Well, yeah, I'm asking
Right,
for
free
ideas.
money.
How about Willard
Free
Street,
money.
Central Street?
Yeah, Willard and Central is a good one.
Do you wanna work with me on that one, Sal?
Sure,
Okay,
good.
that's easy. Every place we get stuck. Where else?
How about the hospital?
How about down by Walmart?
Walmart's a good one, and the hospital.
And well, the hospital is
Well,
is under,
just had a
is under-
study on the hospital.
the
Yeah, the
study's already
hospital-
being done, right, by the state on
Yeah,
that.
we had a whole report on that at the
Yes.
December 7th meeting.
They'll start that in September.
Oh, yes. RN,
Oh.
North Leominster.
Development Division.
Yeah, North Leominster, man.
That's new.
Solution-
13 in Hamilton Street, Nashua
Yeah.
Street.
Yeah,
The solution to North Leominster is blow the railroad bridge.
Yeah,
that's true.
well,
Oh, yes.
and when the study comes to that conclusion, then we have more ammunition to support it.
Okay, I'll put some rough sketches together for the next meeting and reach out to members that gave suggestions and put something together.
Yeah.
Elizabeth, how about Kings Corner, your neighborhood?
I have to abstain. No, I don't have a vote in this. King's Corner, okay.
You have thoughts on that?
I drive it every day.
Does it need a traffic study?
The
When you
biggest
get- when you
problem
get
is
that
Route
far up,
13
when
corridor.
you get that far up on there, it's not congested.
It's just
when
the
you get
Route
up to Kings
13
Corner.
piece. Yeah.
Yeah, the basic problem is at the railroad bridge.
It's at the
Yeah.
railroad bridge.
And until you can do something about that, and the problem there is to increase the height and the width of the railroad bridge, they literally have to go back a half mile on either side of the bridge and elevate the train tracks.
You've walked this path before.
Yes, and it's a huge project, and it has to be done before anything is done, it has to be done by the railroad. And I won't say what the railroad said. But
Unless there's some kind of sap.
that's our problem.
Okay.
But because until there's some way to elevate that railroad bridge and widen it, there's almost nothing you can do. You know, versus a major state takeover and a big interchange there, and that would wipe out that whole section.
How about an overpass?
They looked at that, Sal. It's only
Go over it, huh?
An overpass. There you go.
Yeah, instead of an underpass, just go over it.
A flyover.
Even
if you were to make some adjustments to that underpass, you still have the problem of two intersections
An offset.
two lighted, right?
Yep.
Traffic lighted
Yeah.
intersections offset.
Yep,
The traffic backs up on the Prospect Street side.
Right.
yep.
It's an old intersection, and it's been on the agenda for the state and the county and for years and years and years. And it's, one solution was to take and extend Airport Road or Crawford Street, okay, to Route 13. And the cost there, well, about 10 years ago, was $60 million.
Well, we suppose.
Let me
there's
check my
money out
couch
there.
cushion.
There's money from the state pouring in.
Yeah,
An
Let me check
additional
my couch
$39.5 million.
Money for infrastructure, federal money for infrastructure.
yeah.
So Elizabeth, let me ask you this: what did you get any details about the project that the city is already pushing?
I got one
do we know
sentence.
what it is?
I got a sentence or so about it, so I can pass that to the board. I can even email that all to you next time I don't know if we're gonna be in the office tomorrow, but this week.
Do we have 3 words? Do we have a street name?
I have it in my email,
Oh, okay.
which
Never
I'm
mind.
kind of locked out of right now.
Yeah, if it's
Because
on
I'm
the
on a
tip of your tongue,
different-
don't worry about
I'm
it.
on a different computer and I haven't connected it.
No, that's fine. I just thought you knew offhand.
It wasn't something that resonated with me.
Okay.
Okay. Community One Stop program.
Oh, and then I attended the MMA conference, the Massachusetts Municipal Association, and learned that there's just a lot of state money available, and Leominster just needs to put out its hand and we'll get something. So I printed out this brochure for you called the Community Planning Grant Program. I mean, we could get a planning grant for a master plan. We could get a planning grant for a housing study. We can get one for anything.
What would your top priority be if you had a wish list?
Yeah, you put that together, but you tell us what you want to see.
Well, I'm trying to think of, I had 3 ideas. I pitched to the mayor's office and I'm waiting to hear back. I pitched that, you know, the mayor really wants to do a master plan and we haven't had one since 1959, and the financial burden, it takes a team of about 8 to 12 people to put together a master plan, and we don't have that in-house. It's something I can do a lot with, but I need backup of transportation experts and just a number of folks to work on it. You need a team of people. So that cost is pretty high, but you can get up to $75,000 in the grant for it. So if the city could match part of that, and I know the mayor's office, at least 2 years ago, was very interested in it. I don't know how he feels now. I'm waiting to hear back. That was something a big deal.
And what would be second? What would be the next?
I was thinking of a housing study, because our nationwide, we have a crisis with housing. I've brought this up before. I've been wanting to do something with housing. But now Leominster is feeling the crunch even more because of COVID. Everybody's moving west. They want houses and yards, and it's the local people are competing with people from Boston for housing now. So there's quite a stress on housing. What can we do with what we have? And we don't have a lot of extra land. What can we do with what we have?
Back to the master plan for a second. I'm just $75,000 if you're talking about hiring experts doesn't sound like a lot of money.
It's not. We'd have to probably match 100. We probably have to match 50,000, 175.
5 sounds light to me for the type of project you were describing.
Yeah, but we'd have to match if the city put forward a match, which is why I'm talking to the mayor's office. Because we don't have that in our budget.
75 and the state 75. Is that even enough? It still doesn't sound like enough.
Yeah, that gets us closer to where we want to be.
You could do
Put
that.
it out to bid.
Well, you could do that. You also can do, I was on a master plan a long time ago, but you can do an ad hoc committee to do a lot of the upfront work, being basically citizens. So you could get developers, businessmen, businesswomen involved in the realty, and then do a lot of the groundwork with volunteers. And then once you get that stuff done, then you bring in, and then probably with a consultant, and then bring in, finalize it with some professional people. So that way you could get it done for the, like, probably less, around 100,000 or less. Okay, but it would take volunteer effort from some people in the city. Okay,
Yeah, and I had one other idea, that I, for some reason, I'm blanking out on it. I'm gonna, send it to you though. I had 3 ideas. I want to see what the mayor's office says. Because if they're not on board, then if we don't have their support, then we can't move forward.
And housing is just a lack of inventory everywhere.
But what can we do locally? We can
Well,
do
we're
something.
almost
I'm
built
sure.
out. We're almost a built out city. That's where we are, you know? I mean, there is,
well, problem with Leominster is 1/3 of the city is open space.
yep,
Okay,
and that's a good thing.
20% of the city, another 10% of the city is not buildable. Okay, it's in mountains. And then what we got left is lots here and there. There's only one large tract left, and that's up off of Litchfield Street. I
But
mean,
there-
that's Liggett Hill.
There's discussion of like taking office space because people aren't in their offices as much. They're working from home and there's gonna be vacated office space, maybe converting office space to residential. These are, when my planning magazine, when I read it, these are the kinds of things I'm learning about.
Yeah. Yeah, or
My prediction
I
is
don't
that
know
the
the
mall is
malls,
gonna be
you can
mixed
say
use.
get rid of the
convert
malls.
to residential.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's
My
not
prediction.
far-fetched. That is not far-fetched at all, but
Yep.
that'd be a huge
It's
problem.
already happening in parts of the country.
Yep, I can
Yep.
see that.
What, office space? and-
That's a good point that you brought up, a study for the mall.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, you
I
have all
didn't-
these open big box and retail space. I mean, you know, that may serve as a better, you know, office space is, to me, is still gonna be necessary. Retail space, that's, you know, the world is changing around, you know,
The world is changing.
yep, it is.
Mm. Actually, there was a plan, and I don't know where it goes, you talk to Lascotti, but he had a plan to put housing behind Dick's. Yeah, he's got a hunk of land back there. Okay, that would still be allowed. And we allowed that, that's why that's MU2, which allows residential.
The thing is, we're almost built out. It's what you do with existing stuff that doesn't,
Well, if anybody looks through that more thoroughly or just after this discussion thinks of something, I need to know what it is because, and we can put it back on the agenda for March, but we need to apply for these. I think the deadline is it's April or May. So I want to get something submitted.
Okay, well, we'll give it some thought.
Okay, and then the other thing I came across at the MMA conference was the MMA folks have drafted some legislation, but that I think is pretty important. It's how we're going to handle our meetings after COVID, if they're ever, you know, what's that going to be like? And right now we're working on emergency provisions. Like we had a snowstorm tonight and we're able to meet. It's fantastic. You know, we don't have to cancel the meeting. We had very important business to have tonight and it didn't have to pause. And there's going to be other circumstances where members are out of town and we need quorum and we need them to be able to vote, or someone has a childcare issue or whatever issue there is. Some people from the public can't participate because they don't want to, they can't make it to meetings, and it encourages their participation if we allow Zoom as an option. Not saying that we only do Zoom, but saying that we have the in-house meeting, but then allow for remote participation as well. Maybe that's the future that we want.
Rules, I can tell you that's a really tough act to balance because you're talking to people in person and trying to talk to people online. That's a very hard thing to do.
Have you tried it?
I've seen it. I haven't done it myself because, but I've seen others have, and I've heard from others who have, and it's just it's very hard to talk to an audience in person and then you have a screen behind you or in front of you. It's just because you're where do you look? Who do you talk to? And it's just hard. I'll tell you that it's really hard. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, how about Paul, like on what you're taught in education, you know, either remote or in person? How about like for members of the planning board? I mean,
I think that's what you're saying, right?
oh,
Well, this would allow, I put the page, it's a 1-page
yeah. So,
piece.
The thing is, as I see it, is eventually we're gonna go back to meeting in room 10, okay? But like what we've done here is Florida is a little bit ahead of everybody else. And they, like in our rec hall, we can have 75 people because of the size of the hall. And we just had a meeting with the HOA Association. And what they did is they set up a computer with a camera, and they had an audience and a microphone. And so people see with the computer, it showed all of the audience. They had out of the 9 board members, I think 7 or 6 were in attendance, and there were at least 2. Other 2 were Zoom. But everybody was able to communicate, and by doing it, the audience, they had audience, some in attendance, they had quite a few in attendance, but you also had probably another 5 or 6 that wanted to be heard, and they came in on Zoom. So there was flexibility. It wasn't perfect, but it does allow, I think it allows us some flexibility in our membership of being able to attend even when you're out of town.
Do you think we might be able to get a better clipboard for the plans being presented to us? If we can get people to zoom in from, China.
We could
We can get something
try
better
to
than the
budget for better
clipboard we get in there,
equipment.
or what?
Yeah. We could
I'm
definitely do that.
Well, you know,
one
the
quarter
beauty-
joking. I'm 1/4 joking.
No,
Three
it
quarters.
yeah, but Pat, you're right. You got a good point. Because, the
Seriously.
problem is the plans, how.
But maybe we could get a screen. Where in New Hampshire, in New
Yeah, that's what
Hampshire,
they had.
we had a big screen, and we had it hooked up to a computer, and so the developers would come in with their thumb drive or staff, and we just loaded up on the big screen, and then cable was able to either zoom onto the screen, not like switch to the screen. There was technology to do that. Or
I feel like we're there at this point. I think that honestly,
it's not
if
that
we're gonna have
difficult.
any kind of incorporation of Zoom, I would suggest that we maybe get some kind of screen in the meeting room. If that's in the budget, I don't know if we can.
I think we could. I can push for that if the board would like.
You don't like the clipboard without stuff to hold the plans up?
I believe that was.
I think we can do a better job with the screen.
I think that came in the Harper administration.
I think one of the things we're liking about.
Below that. No kidding.
One of the things we're liking about Zoom, as opposed to in-person meetings, is we're pulling all the plans up and looking at them all together. It's great.
Yeah.
So anyway, this legislation's drafted. It already has a sponsor in the Senate side, but it needs a sponsor on the House side. So I didn't know if the planning board wanted to see if the planning board supports this, if we could see if the mayor also supports it, and see if the city wanted to try to get our designation to co-sponsor this bill. And then Leominster would look very progressive in terms of dealing with the COVID impact. Would be a good.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
It would look great.
That but it's just not. It would be for every board or every.
It'd be for every board.
Yeah.
Every city
It's not
council.
just, that's why it has to come from the
That's right.
city as a whole, but
Right.
I think the planning board, it behooves you to maybe have, on behalf of the board, write a letter to the mayor saying you want this. The deadlines are coming up to co-sponsor it. It's February 19th and the city council meets on February 8th. So if the board wanted to support this, I could, first matter of business, I could send something off to the mayor. And I already sent him a copy of this, so he knows that it's to the board, so it won't be a surprise to him.
Yeah.
Well, because he would have to be the one to do it because
He would have to be the one to do it.
Yeah.
the
Well, we
mayor's
can-
office that would put it forward with just support
But
from,
the mayor's, but we're, your branch of the, we're a branch of the city.
That's
And then we're the boots on the ground dealing with this and I talked to, the clerk's office, who has a lot of city council meetings. I talked to the conservation agent. I talked to, I didn't talk to the Lizervine and Board of Adjustments, but I should. But I think we all feel that we're gonna need, we need this. The time has come. And COVID has just pushed us closer to it.
I think
Agreed.
I think we would we would move forward with this. I've looked at the legislature. I've had, Elizabeth and I have been talking about this for a little bit now. And the process is that we make a recommendation, to the mayor and to the city council. Okay, because ultimately you have to come to the city council. And that we recommend that, and also we have to bring our state rep, okay? So the recommendation would go to Higgins for her to take and spearhead this
Co-sponsor it.
and then sign on to the legislation in the State House. So I think really what the petition is from us to Higgins for her to go forward with our support and the city's support
it's gotta be
for
the
the
city.
legislation.
It's gotta be the city. Our
We
sup-
want the city to
Uh,
support.
Our support,
Ours is just a recommendation to the city, to the mayor's office and the city council.
that is correct. That's correct. That's
It's,
correct.
it's for them to, it's for the city or the executive office to push that to Higgins.
But we're gonna start it. We're gonna start it.
Right,
That's right. It's gotta come from the city council.
yeah, it doesn't
And
come
the-
from
and the
us. Right.
So that's why we've let the
Hey, this
man
would be a
know.
great idea. We support this. And for every other board and commission to say the same, that makes the mayor and city council take action.
Yep. So do I have a motion to this effect?
So moved, Pat.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Second.
Second, yeah.
Okay, I gotta recommend a motion by Pat. I think I heard Paul come in quick.
Yep. But
And any further discussion?
It's not a motion to Higgins, it's a motion to the mayor.
It's the motion.
That I write a letter on behalf of the board to the mayor to petition. to
Correct.
Right,
Lobby Higgins.
Yep.
Natalie.
Yep.
right. Okay, it's our request that the city council and the mayor approach Higgins,
Yes,
okay?
be in favor of a program like this.
That is correct.
Yep.
Okay,
And it's
So I
up to
have a
them to
motion made
adopt
and
the
seconded.
standards and the infrastructure surrounding that. You know?
well, that would be a second thing is we're gonna have to.
Well, no, that's for them.
That's after it comes
That's
into
not
effect.
us,
It'll be
right.
statewide. They'll
That's
probably
right.
have another grant for us.
That's right.
That's after the fact, and then we'll get a grant. I'm sure there'll be grants
We'll get
for the
grants.
state to implement it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's not for us. That's, again, that comes from the mayor's office and the city.
Yeah.
council.
You're thinking way ahead.
That's. the
But
kind
which
of
is
guy I
good.
am. I'm like that.
Okay,
Visionary.
let's
He's
do
a
a roll
I'm a
call.
visionary, thank you.
I have a motion made and seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Jason Parre,
Yes.
Dean Valier,
Yes.
Pat Perla,
Yes.
Paul Weiser,
I abstain in this one.
Sal Chaconi,
Yes,
Tom Kerrigan, excused, Cara Vittorioso,
Yes.
John Souza.
Yes. Okay. No,
That's all I had.
do you have anything else, Elizabeth?
No, I don't.
Okay,
You're up.
Sal, your motion.
no, you gotta do executive session.
Oh, no executive session.
All right, motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion to adjourn. Roll call, please.
Jason Parre,
Yes.
Dean Valier,
Yes.
Pat Perla,
Yes.
Paul Weiser,
Yes.
Sal Chaconi,
Yes,
Tom Kerrigan, excused, Cara Vittorioso,
Yes.
John Souza.
Yes.